Excellent. Hey, everybody. Welcome. So I am meeting with entrepreneurs who have been reading my latest book, Small List, Big Results, Launch a Successful Offer, no matter the size of your email list. And I want to find out how they're implementing the strategies that are outlined in the book, any mindset shifts that are happening for them, and how all this is helping them grow their business. Now, I am joined today by Dea Irby, a speaker, author, and realtor who describes herself as a connector, communicator, and cultivator. So please welcome me in, join me in welcoming Dea to the live stream. It worked.
Thank you. Yay. Hello there.
For folks who are watching, this is really my first official live stream because my last one with my assistant, we did it at like 9:30 Eastern at night because we were like, let's just see how this works. But thank you for being here. And I also realized I didn't ask you ahead of time. How do you pronounce your name? I want to get it right.
We're perfect. Dea.
Brilliant. Okay.
If you have an idea. And then I got married and my last name starts with an I, so it's not idea, it's Dea.
Dea I. All right. So Dea,
yes.
How did we connect? Because that in itself is an interesting story.
Yes, it's so wild and crazy, because you were a guest on Lynn Tetro's podcast. And I had been a guest on there, so I got her Facebook notifications. And I saw that you were talking about building community and Zoom and online things. And that is like where my interest lies. So I have to go to that. So I listened to the list. You were great. And you introduced your No More Bad Zoom Friday community. I had to join because that's what I want is community and online. And I'm the otter, the party animal that wants to have serious FOMO. And you
I love it.
Providing something to take care of my FOMO.
I love the roundabout way that you found me as a fellow expert being interviewed on a show and then coming to my Friday event. Excuse the technical glitch there, folks. I'm new to this little space. So I was trying to figure out how to do this really, really quickly. And now I know how to do it. So huzzah to me. All right. So we wanted to talk today about your reaction to the book. And before we even got on air, you started to share with me some of this. And I was like, hold it. I want to hear it, but I know others do too. So as you're reading Small List, Big Results, can you just give me like a top level? What was your sort of initial reaction? Did you know that you needed this book, or did you find that out only after reading it?
I knew the concept. I was excited that small lists can give me big results. What I was mostly surprised about was the practicality, the do this and do this. Wait, did you do that? And then move on to this next step. And just the applicability of it. I already knew and if anybody's watching, you don't know Robbie, generous person he is and how he gives away so much value. And it's all, I cannot believe that I was able to get this for 99 cents. And you can too, only for the rest of this week. So go out and buy it. Actually, I have 4 people I want to buy this and send to, which is cool too. But just overall, a lot of it was familiar because I'm a student of this mindset. And of course, mindset's where it all starts. But the in the heart was the expert syndrome, where I know this subject. I've already taught 6 weeks of an 8-week class on parenting. And I feel like I'm an expert, or at least a survivor of parenting, because I birthed and raised 8 children over 3 decades. But the stopping and seeing, is this their pain point? Is this what they want? And not just saying, oh, well, I know, so let me tell you all this.
All right, I want to jump in because I think this is so key. There are two reasons I found that people are reluctant to go and talk to their network, their likely prospects about their creation. One is nervous. They just feel anxious about doing it. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what to say, all that stuff. But then the other extreme, folks like you who have this really valid lived experience. I love it. You say same body, same husband. I saw that written. So you have 8 children, right? So you have really valid lived experience. You are an expert in parenting, a survivor of parenting 8 children. I'm sure we have things to learn from you. But as a parent myself, I have a now soon to be 4 and 6-year-old. It's been a while since you've been in my shoes with a 4 and 6-year-old. And so just like it's not been as long for me since I've had, infants, but I can't remember everything that was like even from 4 or 5 years ago. So I think that we sometimes are so far away from where we started. It is a little hard to realize, wow, people need that. I had no idea. You're skipping ahead. And then you're selling them something that they don't think they need or they can't possibly use. But did you find that you are going to shift your strategy now? I mean, you've already been doing this program. Are you now going back and doing more research calls? Had you done any conversations with your likely prospects before building this offer?
I did sort of test run a couple of things. I developed an ebook that's a parenting GPS, because parents need direction, and the GPS is goals, priorities, and strategies. And I talked through that process, and I did get a couple of other people, parents, moms, to read it and tell me whether it was good or not. But yeah, I'm definitely in my next session, when I have my online parenting class, I am going to ask a whole lot more questions and just use that opportunity to get some feedback.
Absolutely. You don't have to scratch everything you've created. You might just be finding some nuances. In the book, there's the example between using the word fatigued and using the word exhausted. And if people that you interview aren't using the word fatigued, then drop it and replace it with a word they are using, the word exhausted. So you might find just even nuances or another lesson that is like a precursor for the next time. But asking those questions is really, really, really profound, and you could learn a lot. Was there anything that surprised you? I mean, some of this was common sense. You're like, that makes sense. But was there anything that you were like, I definitely wouldn't have expected that was as a plan? Like, I didn't know that was the thing I should be doing as an entrepreneur.
I think not necessarily. Well, I did like your moving from the symptom aware to problem aware to solution aware to you aware and now aware. I liked that process. And I am all into acrostics or words that mean something. And I loved your to do more of this, you have to get more of that. I loved it because everything stood for something.
Yes, my more program for entrepreneurial women, which was for me the turnaround in starting to understand more about my ideal client. And I've come to realize something just really been interesting. Just part of this book launch, I was very clear while I was writing the book that my ideal client was an entrepreneurial woman in her 50s or beyond. But I then started to hear back such positive feedback from men. And what I'm realizing is that it's somewhat demographic. I mean, I think that's still largely true, that a lot of the people who are going to really resonate with this book will fall into the demographic I just described. But it's also psychographic. It's anyone of any gender, maybe of any age, but particularly a little later in life, who wants more impact, right? They want more income. We always, sure, I'll take that. But they want to have a bigger impact, a legacy. They want meaning, and they want it now. They don't want to delay, and they don't want to get lost in the details. They don't want to miss the opportunity. They're coachable. I mean, that's really an underlying piece. So when you pick up this book and you realize there are these steps that you can do do you feel like you can implement the steps? Like, was there enough information in the book for you to be taking action on your own? Just start right now. I mean, it sounds like you already are doing this.
Yes, and I totally related to the target group, your ideal client. And I think you're so right because, I mean, for me, it's like been there, done that, tried this. I know that there has to be a way to do this that's easier. I don't need to reinvent the wheel, but at least I could find the wheel and know how to put it together. So yes, totally steps to take to get her done.
I love it. Was there another section in the book? You talked about the expert syndrome. What was there another section of the book that particularly stood out for you?
The wake up your network,
Mm.
the system that's do the math, not do the gut. I feel like this is, but no, let's just, do the numbers,
Yeah.
give them scores. I mean, in real estate, that's what I do with my clients. If somebody is giving me referrals, they're an A client. If somebody unfriends me on Facebook, well, they're probably a C or somebody that I did serve them, but they're the kind of person that God couldn't have, pleased them. Then they're, so
Yeah.
it helps. You gave a system
Mm-hmm.
and the math to give numbers to people that adds up, and it's nothing personal. It's these are the people that you can work with are the better choice.
What I have found really helpful when I've worked with my clients around this is that you start with this huge list. It could be, your LinkedIn list or your followers on Facebook or whatever it is. And that's enormous. Then you think about who would remember your name and you'd be happy to hear from that out of the blue. So that's the first cut, which still leaves hundreds of people. Then you're talking about the math, which is the prioritizing them based on their connection to you, 1, 2, or 3, their influence in the world, which is really a gut for you. Like, what do you think makes sense? 3 being highest. And then 1, 2, or 3, their interest in whatever you're currently talking about, which means that 18 months from now, you can go back to this list and reassess because what you want to talk about might change. And you can then find a different group of people that you want to sort of zero in on. So, did you start doing the Wake Up Your Network workbook? Have you actually made some steps in this process?
I'm working on it. I get these inspired by these big ideas, but there's got to be this magic pill that makes me actually take action. As on one of my real estate calls that I have every morning, it's you've received the inspiration. Now go put in the perspiration.
So one of the ways to make that happen, I have found, is by creating a deadline. So every month, I offer a pop-up mastermind, either 1, 2, or possibly even 3 sessions. This is with up to 8 participants, so it's a small group, and it's just $100. It's not meant to break the bank. It's just to get you to commit to doing it. So there's 2 costs. One is the dollar amount that I just said, $100, and the other is you have to have made significant progress in the Wake Up Your Network workbook, because the entire mastermind is created based on the questions you bring. So if you haven't done the work, then you don't have any good questions. You don't even know what other people are talking about when they're asking questions. And I actually had someone delay attending because she walked in and she was like, I don't know what's going on. I said, then come back and use the 2 hours we've just freed up in your schedule to get started. So that there's already one coming up on the 9th of November, and I'll have others announced in December. And that's robbiesamuels.com/wake up app. I'll make sure that information gets sent out to everyone. But you could sign up for one of those, Dea, and then you'll have I've got to get this done. And then you'll have someone to talk to get questions answered and also be inspired by other people who are taking action. It's amazing what people have already done. I've been doing these since late September, and such wonderful feedback, the 50 or so people who've gone through it. So I do want this to be an action-taking kind of book. it's a very quick read, but someone pointed out that you might refer it for 10 more years. Like it's not a quick implementation. It's just a quick read.
Right, right. It's like, yeah, it's a recipe that you're gonna family favorite dish that you're gonna make all the time. So you have to go back to the recipe.
I love this analogy. So, is there any other takeaways or anything else you want to share about your sort of experience with this book or with my launch team? I know you're involved with that as well, and thank you so much for leaving a review. Anything that you want to ask me about any of this?
Well, just wow. And how many Marys are there in the world? Because I'm sure you're not going to share her very much. But anyway, totally impressed with the whole process. Well, this is your second book, and I'm sure you tweaked the process some with the second issue, the launch, but every little thing. And this is, I mean, I've published some books. Okay. Writing a book to me, and maybe it's because of who I am, is like having a baby, birthing a baby. I mean, maybe I come up with that analogy because, So maybe you have a few baby showers to get ready and you get the room ready, and then you birth the baby and it doesn't stop there. You either raise the baby and take care of it or put it in the orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that I put my babies in the orphanage.
Oh, your books are neglected. Is you're saying you've been a neglectful author?
Yes, I have 3 books
Yeah.
on Amazon, and I did do with the 2 devotional journals. I did get beta readers.
Yep.
And got feedback, and then put their comments in the beginning of the book.
Nice.
Yeah.
So as the moment, I think we have 139 reviews on Amazon for the new book, Small List, Big Results, and over 500 people join the launch team. So my goal is a third will take action within the next week or so. So we're getting close. We're getting close to that third. We have another dozen or so people, and there's about 24 people who've written a review and not posted it. So I'm working on reaching out to them, but it is not easy. I'm actually pulling a lot of the strings behind here. Mary is both an amazing person, my systems and processes coach. She's also a bit of a persona, and I'll be talking more about how we kind of collaborated together and what happened behind the scenes in a book launch debrief masterclass that you'll be invited to, Dea, because you're part of the launch team. So folks want to learn about a successful book launch strategy that resulted this time so far in 139 reviews. And we're only, a few days away from the official launch date on October 31. Then I will be sharing that in early December in a launch team debrief masterclass. And anyone who can do that by joining robbiesamuels.com/book launch. I'll make sure all these links are in the comments. But yes, it's quite the experience. And I will tell you the sort of philosophy of the launch that you might apply to something else you're doing or a book launch. I believe that when people set an intention and their intention is to help me support the book by writing a review, it's my job to help them follow through with that intention by making it as easy as possible and by nurturing them along that path. And that too often when I've written reviews for over 50 books, and I know this because I went back through Amazon to see who have I written reviews for that I should reach out to for my launch team. Well, a lot of them just asked me once and never reminded me. And then it becomes this to-do item that I can't keep track of. And then I feel bad. Who was it again? What was the name of that person? What was the book? When was it due? When is the launch? And it makes me feel angsty. Even when I finally do it, I don't feel good. I feel like, so cross that off.
Right.
I want people to celebrate a win-win, that you feel great having posted your review and I feel great that you posted a review. And then it doesn't stop there. I have lots of other ways people can support. So I don't ask them all at once because my biggest ask is, of course, the review on Amazon. But I also ask people to post on Goodreads, to share their testimonial, their review on social. I gave them social text and graphics they could share. It's sort of like once people are engaged, you could ask them to do more things because it's your win too. We did this. That's why I said we have 139 reviews, not I have 100. Like I didn't mean, I'm not 139 people. So think about how you can translate into your own business, Dea, about like if people commit to doing something with you, like how do you help them follow through in a timely manner? Because then they'll feel good and you'll feel good. I think too often we're afraid to ask. We're afraid to ask a second time. Polite persistence is what I call it. So any other thoughts on that before we kind of move to one other topic?
No, being a member of your launch team
Sure.
was enjoyable. I've been in group effort things recently, being a speaker in a summit and getting all these emails about advertise this and push this and da 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 da. And it felt a burden. But the way that you were communicating, it made me want to do it. I don't know. Are you putting some mesmerizing words and subliminal suggestions in your emails?
No, I'm just being.
Want to do this for
I'm
Robbie.
just genuinely excited and giving people a little taste of what it's like to join the effort.
Right.
It's an invitation. It's not a requirement. No one's required to do anything. I think that's the difference. I've been part of these summits, these virtual summits where they're like, did you send your emails? Like, I didn't see your email. Like, and you're like, oh,
right.
Yeah, it's a different kind of approach.
I never felt that pressure.
Awesome. Well, I'm thrilled to hear that. And within the next 4 years, maybe I'll get the nerve up to have another book. It's sort of like a baby. You have to have enough time to like forget what it was like.
Postpartum depression.
Those sleepless nights.
No, and sleepless nights when yes, it is so like having a baby.
So next up, I want to just mention that the book was actually not the goal. And I think that's the other thing authors don't always think through, especially nonfiction authors, that the book for me is part of a much larger launch. Now, my first book, I didn't have this all mapped out. And I wrote about my lessons learned in the second book. But the second book, I wanted to have that sort of figured out. So there is the Big Results training coming up November 12th, 13th, and 14th. It's 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern each of those days. And yes, the replay will be available for 24 hours after each session. We're going to be diving deeper into the mindset and strategies that are in the book because I want people to be able to implement the strategies, to take the action, to have that reason to move forward with all the amazing resources in the toolkit. And that too often, just read a book, you put it down. So I want to let everyone know it's free. They can all come, whether you are an ideal client of mine or not, because I do think it's a cool way for you to see behind the scenes of a launch and to see what I think of as ethical selling, like not making people feel coerced into buying something. There's an offer, and it might be an obvious offer for some of you who've been doing the work, but not for many of you. Still come and you'll learn something, both in the content and I think in the macro sense of learning. So RobbieSamuels.com/big launch. Again, I'll put all these links in the comments below, wherever you're watching this. Dea, I want to thank you again. Just delightful. And I love, we got to zero in on this again. Look at this. That's just, can I just order that for all my guests? Because that's pretty sweet. I need one of those.
Yes.
You're amazing. I can't wait to hear all the other action that you take because of reading the book. Don't just put it aside. Go get that toolkit, the Big Results toolkit. Start doing the Wake Up Your Network workbook. And actually, you already have asked me in preparation for this call. We're going to hang up with everybody else, and I'm going to stay on with you and let you pepper me with questions about parenting so you can get a better sense of what parents like me need. And I thought it was great that you asked me because when I used to teach fundraising, I knew I'd done a good job when someone in the group would come up to me after and ask me to donate to their cause. Because if I can get them past the fear of asking, I knew I'd done my job. It was hard to make money. because I wasn't being paid a lot and I was donating to everybody. But I really wish you well on your journey, and I can't wait to follow it and cheer you on. Thanks for joining us today, Dea. How can people find you and follow your work?
It's really simple. DeaIrby.com.
Awesome. We will have that information again. We'll drop that in. I'll put that right into the comments there wherever you are watching this. Thanks for everyone who's joined us live or the replay. We appreciate you, and we'll see you another time. Cheers, everyone.